Good afternoon. My name is Sam Berkeley, and I am finishing my bachelor's degree here at Grand Canyon University for a degree in communications. So for my research project, I have chosen to ask the question if and how social media affects teens' mental health. This research project is close to my heart because I'm an aspiring teacher who sees the daily struggles that students face when it comes to social media addiction and usage. And all too often in the school district, I've seen time after time statements from staff and parents about how social media is affecting their child in a negative light. This has really inspired me to reach a consensus on my own through examinations and participation from students as to whether or not social media is in fact taking a mental toll on them. Moving on to the thesis. Looking at the literature review that provides us with numerous amounts of evidence as to how social media may indeed have a negative effect on our youth and their mental health. The current priorities of the U.S. Surgeon General states children and adolescents who spend more than 3 hours a day on social media face double the risk of mental health problems, including experiencing symptoms of depression and anxiety. That's Murphy, 2023. With this concerning information in mind, we must then look at how much time teens are actually spending on social media per day. And according to Forbes, teens spend on average about 5 hours per day on social media, and that's AdGate 2024. And that even equates to roughly 1,825 hours per day or 76 days straight. Now that we know that there is in fact direct evidence of a correlation between screen time and the usage amounts, we can look at the repercussions that our youth are facing. We know that teens are using social media at mass levels per day, but what exactly does it affect? And what is causing this mental health issue? Mayo Clinic provides a list of negative effects that social media has on our youth. Things like distracting from homework, exercise, family activities, disrupt sleep, lead to information that is biased or not correct. They share too much personal information. It's body shaming. There's online predators, cyberbullying, anxiety, depression, self-harm, and yes, even death. And that's Mayo 2024. While all of these various negative effects that social media has on teens is harmful, there is one that speaks volume in the percentage of teens that are affected. Cyberbullying is a major issue amongst teens. According to Pew Research Center, nearly half of U.S. teens have been bullied or harassed online, and that's Vogel's 2022. And all of these sources are pretty current, so that's why it's so relevant in today's society. When we take all of these negative effects that social media may have on our youth, we must come to terms that this is indeed a serious issue that is really just plaguing our youth. We as the elders of our youth have an absolute obligation to look out for their future and put a stop to this crisis. So with all of this in mind, I started to begin and was able to start my research. And the research method that I had the most direct and accurate results, yes, it's a smaller scale, but it's the experimental research. Now, what exactly is experimental research? The Office of Research Integrity states, an experiment is a study in which a treatment, procedure, program is intentionally introduced and a result or outcome is observed. And that's Research Design 2024. There were various research methods that I have also worked for, or that would work for this research project. These things could be observations, surveys, interviews, focus groups, experiments, secondary data analysis, and a combination of mixed methods. In fact, choosing the correct method has taken some time, as observations, surveys, and interviews are also great options for this research project. Now, the benefit of experimental research is that you are able to get real-time data that research candidates may be excited and eager to be part of. They really don't have to wait for it, and it's something that they can, again, see direct and real-time data. And what this looks like is students in my classroom may partake of an experiment that includes them writing down their emotions in the beginning regarding a number of facts such as self-image, happiness, and frequency of judgmental thoughts about others. They will then be asked to stay off social media for 2 days. This is kind of an honor system. Next, they will then be asked to write down their emotions after the 2 days are up, and we will analyze the results. Now, after all of that experiment and the great participation we had, we finally got to the results. So after a 2-day experiment that went really well in terms of participation, we have the final concluding factor of if or not social media is plaguing our youth. So prior to the experiment commencing, again, just to recap, I asked students in my classroom who'd be willing to take part of the experiment. Out of 30 students, I had 30 test subjects who were willing to take part in the experiment, and I was so proud of them for wanting to see a possible change or find a struggle or come to a conclusion or solution for this negative image. So then I asked the students to write down their current emotions after the 2 days off of social media. Again, these were things as pain, struggles, joy, happiness, and self-consciousness, etc. We then continued to the next part of the project. I then asked the students to stay completely off of social media for 2 days. This was, of course, like I mentioned, an honor system. After the 2 days came to a close, I had the students write down their current emotions again, as well as the ones that they had felt throughout the last 2 days. And I used these note cards for them. The results that were recorded were almost unanimously in agreement that their negative emotions were down and their positive emotions were up. To be specific, 23 out of 30 students reported a gain in happiness and drop in depression. Now, what these results really tell me is that students are far happier when they are not constantly on social media sites. Not only do these numbers speak volume to adults, but they also spoke highly to the to the students who were astonished at the increase in positivity. Many of the students wanted to share the information with their classmates in the school because they could not believe how much relief they had gotten from staying off of social media. In all, this has reinforced my view on what I had already thought, which is that constant social media usage is generally draining on our youth. The question is, will these same statistics hold true for adults? To finally conclude, how do we choose a research project that is worthy of people's attention? When we consider the research topic, is social media usage giving our youth mental health issues? This should pique anyone's interest because the interests of the children should be at the forefront. Yes, social media can be a blessing in a multitude of ways. However, our children are getting locked into something that will negatively impact their self-image forever. And that is a question. Are our children getting locked into something that will negatively impact their self-image forever? Now, these questions have given me the motivation that I have needed to conduct the most effective research project possible. What the results from my project tell me and my audience is that there is a resounding yes, that social media is in fact may contribute to mental health issues within our youth. And yes, I say may because of the small sample scale. However, I do believe that this is a start and a possible trend that we could see across the nation, and it is worth noting. Future research may include conducting this same research, but at the adult level, to see how social media affects the older population as well. I believe for the goodness and sanity of future generations, we must take action now in order to help the vulnerable stop the demonic attack before it is too late. Thank you.